Today, some new cards were released. There were 3 new cards that I saw on the website. There were 2 that were added a while ago. This will probably be my one video for the week because I'm very stressed out about that whole Kappa thing that I've been hearing about. So, we'll see how that all goes and everything. So, probably not this week. I'll try to have some more Wind Waker by next week, I'm hoping. So I'll have this week, some other ones probably of this next week, because they're going to be dropping more cards, because it's a lot closer to the actual release date of Descent of Dragons. So some of these next week, along with some Wind Waker, I am hoping. Yeah. Wind Waker is just kind of hard for me because I have to find a big chunk of time to do it. And this is just a hobby for me. So, it's kind of hard because I always need to get to like a certain point because of how the saving works in the game. So, next week, there will be some of those. Let's jump right into the first card. A Paladin Legendary. 4-cost 8/8 Dragon. Nozdormu the Timeless. Battlecry. Set each player to 10 mana crystals. I think this is a very situational card, because some decks cannot deal with an 8/8 even if they have those 10 mana crystals. Other decks can easily deal with it, like as an example, you play Nozdormu the Timeless, and the priest that you're playing against just does that new Time Rip, I think it was called. The priest one that invokes Glockrond while killing, or basically just assassinating a minion for 5. So you deal with this easily then. But it could be is very interesting and very situational. I don't see it honestly seeing too much play, because if you make your deck too like dependent on this card, then it's going to be very inconsistent, because you just got a bunch of big stuff hoping to get Nozdormu the Timeless, and then you never actually draw him. So you get destroyed by like turn 6 or 7 because you can't actually really play anything. Because you're just hoping for well, I mean, I guess you could go into a control deck, but there isn't really a control paladin out there. There's really just the Murloc paladin and the high. I don't think this could go into a Highlander paladin either. No. Sathravar. 9-cost 5/5 demon. Battlecry, choose a friendly minion. Add a copy of it to your hand, deck, and battlefield. Very strong Battlecry ability. I honestly think that... well, actually, first I should talk about... If you went to BlizzCon, I believe you got a golden version of this. And the virtual ticket, I think, gave you a golden version of this. I don't remember. If you just log on, I think it's before Descent of Dragons, you just get a free version. You just get a free version of this card. Normal version, not golden, but you still get it. And that's all that matters. I don't honestly see what kind of deck this could maybe go into. Honestly, this could probably go into a Highlander deck, I think, is the best spot for this to fit. Because you add a copy of it to your hand, deck, and battlefield. So let's say Zephrys the Great. So you got another Zephrys on board. You got one in your deck, and then you got another one in your hand. So you get to do a wish whenever you want, because it's in your hand. And then you'll get another wish later when you draw it from your deck. So I think this is very much made for a Highlander deck. So I think this card is very strong, and I think I do I see it seen some sort of play, or at least played around with in a Highlander type deck. Dragon Rider Talritha. I haven't thought about this card too much. Just saw it when I got home from work. 3 cost, 3/3 Paladin Legendary. Death Rattle, give a dragon in your hand plus 3/3, and this Death Rattle. So it's kind of a hand buff type card. So give 3/3 to a dragon in your hand and the Death Rattle. You play that dragon, that dies, gives it to another one in your hand. So on and so forth. And until I accidentally hit space. Until you run out of dragons. Which you're probably going to design your deck to have dragons and drawing cards, so then you always have a dragon in your hand for when one dies. So I think this card is pretty strong. 3 cost, 3/3. Little under the curve, but I think the Death Rattle very much makes up for it. So if a Dragon Paladin becomes a thing, this could see play in that Dragon Paladin. You saw a tiny glimpse of this because I accidentally hit that spacebar. 2 cost, 2/2, Priest, Minion, Envoy of Lazul. Battlecry, look at 3 cards, guess which one is in your opponent's hand to get a copy of it. This could be relatively easy or hard, depending on what 3 cards it gives you. Depending on the type of... If you know the type of deck that your opponent is running, it's going to be a lot easier to guess which one is in your opponent's hand. Unless it takes 3 cards from that deck, and it's like, one of these is in your opponent's hand, guess which one it is. I don't think that's going to be how it is, because generally it ends up being 1 card that's your opponent's, and 2 random cards then. Because that is what the Curious Glimmerroot does. So I think it's going to be very similar to that, which means it's probably going to be a lot easier to guess it not on turn 2. So playing this on curve is probably a bad idea. You probably want to do it later so you can actually guess the card correctly and get that extra value out of it. I'm not sure what type of deck this could actually go into. Really trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. Some type of control priest? I don't know. I don't think Curious Glimmerroot had too much play either, honestly. So I don't see this. Might see some experimentation, but not much play other than that. Shuma. 7 cost, 1/7 neutral legendary. At the end of your turn, fill your board with 1/1 tentacles. Card is just weird. It's a neutral, it's a 1/7, it fills your board. So basically you should play this and nothing else. No other minions, because then you're losing value. This card makes no sense. I don't think this card is very good at all. There's a bunch of 1/1s, and it's at the end of your... I don't think it's very good. This card is very weak. A 1/7 with just a bunch of 1/1s for 7? That's terrible. That is completely weak. So I don't see this scene play in any type of deck. I don't know what kind of... I mean, I guess a token druid would maybe run this. But it's also at the end of your... It's at the end of the turn. So you'd have to wait until next turn to buff those 1/1s. So it's really not good. Those are all the cards that Hearthstone currently has posted now. There was 5 I went through in this. I was kind of waiting, because there was the 2 for a while, and I was kind of waiting for more, and then those 3 came out. So I did it on 5. So it's a relatively shorter video. Hoping to get some Wind Waker out next week. I'll see you all next time.